Kamusta, Attorney Conti? Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to join you in person. Very quickly, unang-una, yeah, I mean, you were just at the ICC the other day, from my understanding. How seriously do you think they're taking this, considering mukhang si Digong lang mahuhuli nila na high-profile figure? The other heads of state are like nuclear power states, incumbents. Interestingly, in this case, China, wishy-washy sila. Trump didn't say much last time I checked. Still checking. So mukhang it's in their interest also not to say much about this, given their sanctioning of ICC earlier this year and Trump. So in short, for you, how big a deal for ICC this is, in a sense that it reassures us na hindi nila bibitawan ito?
Well, just from the facts alone, the Duterte trial will likely be the only trial that they will have in a few years. Most of the other cases that are ongoing are at the end stage. One case nga, nasa reparation stage na. So, tapos na, nandun na lang sa pinakadulo. The other cases are nearing its end. One just started with defense, the Said trial. So, the only other case that we'll likely see in the next 4 or 5 years will be Duterte's. Because the other cases which were open, kumbaga, and which have outstanding warrants, will not likely see any of the accused in a stand trial. Important sa ICC kasi na in person ka, nandun ka, walang in absentia. Si Duterte pa lang yung nahuli sa dinami-daming warrants of arrest na issue recently in the past 2 years. So this is the only trial that we'll see in the next few years.
So this is their big fish, if I can put it that way. This is it, yeah.
This also, I would say, would show the world how strong or how important the ICC is in the entire context. That, I mean, we've been looking at high-profile cases.
Yeah.
And you're right, this is the big fish, kumbaga. People, when the war on drugs was at its peak, people were talking about it all over the world. And now we're back in the spotlight. And rightfully so, I'd say.
Well, the last time I was here for discussion, it had to do more with yung landmark case natin sa West Philippine Sea. Now, suddenly, we are involved in another landmark case. Biro nga ako, tayo na yata nagpa-fund ng buong Hague, in a sense that, we make them relevant. Because ICC was under pressure a lot. I mean, they have not been doing very well in terms of, logistically making sure things move in the right direction. So actually, I'm here also in Brussels right now to raise this with our partners and friends. Now, actually, Philippines is a very important country, although more reluctantly in this case than in the arbitration case under the Aquino administration. But nevertheless, do you see the Philippines becoming a much more champion of international law, or should be more of embracing that status as a reluctant or unlikely champion of international law?
We should, and what's more important is we should be consistent.
Yeah.
So, for a time we had the Marcos government saying that we will not cooperate with the ICC because this and that. But it turns out they did cooperate in some way. At least we have the arrest now. But during the times that when he was saying, si Marcos na, bakit ako magko-cooperate, ganyan, it was so inconsistent with the position dito sa arbitral tribunal saying that, we will follow law and order and all the rest of the world should. And then, in the Duterte's case, well, the rest of the others should follow, not us. So, kailangan lang maging consistent.
Did it look too much of political convenience?
Yes.
Just to put it out brutally,
Yeah. Unfortunately, there were developments that kind of pushed the Marcos government to pursue this case, in a sense, to cooperate. Kasi, I mean, if the unity were still strong together, this arrest would not have happened.
I mean, just to be clear, sorry, I'm cutting. I know you have to also leave. I mean, I know, I don't know kung patama yun or something, because last year medyo maingay kami na the warrant of arrest is coming. And I think you made a statement about some people shouldn't get excited. But I got that information when I was at The Hague last year to talk about West Philippine Sea. And someone said, confirmed to me, unimpeachable source, na nagka-communicate na sa Philippine government yung ICC. So my sense was there were, I don't know how to use the word, negotiation to make sure this goes through. Is that a reasonable way of reading the situation? I know you want to make sure that ICC doesn't come off as a political, it is not, it is a legal institution, but nevertheless they have to be reasonable also, right, about the logistics and all.
Yeah, well, one aspect or one factor that the ICC has to consider is the probability of arrest. So I would say, that maybe in negotiations with the arresting state, would have affected yung timing. But again, well, from my point of view, kasi ang hirap sabihin.
Yeah, I know. And you're gonna go to this.
Commit,
Yeah.
I cannot commit the ICC
Yeah.
to anything, especially to
Yeah.
the timeline. And I cannot, and to be clear, the victims are not required to be informed even
Yeah.
of the warrant of arrest. Kaya kung sa amin, while we would want to, sabi nga namin, we hope warrant of arrest will be issued by the end of the year. Actually, to some extent, we were in consonance.
Yeah.
Sa inyo, may timeline lang. Pero sa
We were a
amin,
few
it's
months
end of the
too
year.
excited. Yeah. But do you see more warrant of arrests
Yes.
coming?
So, we've always
And how
said-
important is that?
It's important because Duterte has to be seen, or Duterte should be seen in the context of the entire policy.
Operation,
It
yeah.
was not just him, yes, and he was an indirect co-perpetrator along with others. This would not have happened without all the others. Duterte might have been like the brains or the
The capo,
yeah,
the Führer, yeah.
the moral compacts of
Yeah.
all this, but the implementation was left
Yeah.
up to his cabal of both. They did this in the DDS, diba? Yung kanyang mga lackeys would be police officers
Yeah.
and civilians. So, minimum ba to? There could be others. There will be others.
There should be others, you think? Yeah? Because, I mean, it was also people in other department and agencies. The reason I'm asking is that I'm going to talk to Justice Carpio again in a few hours after this. Justice Carpio was very adamant to say, now when you say failed yung justice system natin, which is what, interestingly. So the Marcos administration is now suddenly saying, coming up with new explanations, like our views are evolving, nag-fail yung justice system. But Justice Carpio, I think, to be fair, was right when he said, when you say justice system, it's not just the judiciary. And more importantly, kung stage 1 pa lang, parang binablock ito in terms of evidence gathering, in terms of, PNP doing its job, in terms of, DOJ doing its job. Do you think our justice system failed, and where is the concentration of the failure?
Well, first step pa lang. And actually, if we were to look at pillars of justice,
Yeah.
it's included in the pillars of justice would be community and also yung police. If the police didn't do all of these,
Yeah.
wala tayong kailangan idalhin sa korte. So, largely, I think it's the culture of impunity. Actually, if it was not the police, this might have been done by private armed groups or kung kanino man.
My hard guns, yeah,
may-
mercenaries.
Kumbaga kung sino man ginadjust dyan, gagawin ko to. So the whole concept of culture of impunity, hindi na nga lang climate. Of course, it's both. Because when you say climate, prevailing circumstances now,
Right.
culture is like embedded. Remember that yung entire concept of extrajudicial killings.
You want to move a little bit there? Sorry, medyo maingay yata, friend. No, it's okay. We can be very relaxed, yeah. This is a vlog style, yeah. Please go ahead, yeah.
So, yung concept ng extrajudicial killings, yung since Marcos era,
Yeah.
Marcos Senior. So, salvage pa nung time na yun. Like, it went through na parang, okay lang. And we only saw kind of a little bit of justice
Yep.
after, 30 years, yung compensation. Tapos, pero lang yun, it was civil compensation.
Yeah.
Parang,
Walang criminal liability, no, yeah.
Walang pag-amin, walang apology. And until now, we don't have the memorial.
Yeah.
And supposedly, yung mga statements ng mga Marcos victims should be made available to the public.
Right.
Wala pang ganang announcement. Siyempre, it will not happen under the Marcos presidency.
And towards the end na tayo, I know you need to leave. Speaking of the next steps, anong mga importante? The first thing comes to my mind is itong false sympathy or asymmetry in sympathy. Like, ang daming concerned na matanda na si Digong, kawawa naman siya, what's gonna happen to him? Although, at the same time, some would say he has a very good accommodation. May term pa nga na, Hague Hilton ba? Yung sa detention center. I don't wanna go that far, pero may mga sarcastic comments na gano'n. But for me, mukhang kulang talaga. Hindi narinig ng taong bayan yung parte ng mga biktima. Well, you represent the victims and all of that. What is the reason for that? Is it because takot yung mga biktima magpa-media? I see a lot of Western media documentaries. Is it also because siguro the local media in the Philippines have not been doing enough? Is it feudalism? I mean, to be a bit progressive about it. Are there structural prejudice? Because halos what, 99%? I mean, you talked about middle class being targeted, but I think that was barely 1%. I mean, you can really break down. There was a socioeconomic aspect to this too, no?
Yeah, so as I said, the war on drugs was a massacre of the poor. So they're the perfect victims. Una, hindi nila sa pera.
Yeah.
Wala silang alam na kung anong gagawin. All they know is pag nilamatay, lalapit kung kanino man. Lalapit kay congressman, lalapit kay barangay captain. Kayo na pong bahala. So there's a reliance on their part on other actors and other people to do things. And so their purpose is also they would tend to blame themselves. Kasi kasi I was in the wrong place at the
Right.
time.
Yeah.
And it's because drug addict yung anak ko. But if you ask them, hinuli, sabi, by bus. Was he in possession? Kasi drug addict po yung anak ko. No, was he in possession?
Yeah.
No. So, yung sila mismo na sasabihin na hindi kasalanan ko. That's what...
You mean they internalize the tragedy? Para lang survival, yeah.
Kasi po, ganun talaga eh. And
Yeah, I read the story.
in
Yeah.
some instances, they support or supported Duterte, thinking that hindi sila maapektuhan. Yung iba, surrenderies. Yung panahon nga ni Duterte, pinasurrender ko na.
Yeah.
Dati, drug addict yan, pero pinasurrender ko na. Kasi yun naging target pa. So for them, parang a lot of emotions and a lot of, as you said, internalized.
Ang tawag ko dyan, survival bias. Like, when you're in a climate of fear, your brain looks for ways to justify or I saw that with politicians. Like, I saw that with other senators. Like, wait, bakit biglang weird yung mga... These are off the record, Parang, why are you arguing this? This was not your argument 2 months ago. And then I realized, yeah, of course, yun yung sasabihin niya sa sarili niyang utak para not feel guilty. Kasi duwag sila. They didn't do their job.
Kumbaga, political expedience.
Exactly.
Ito yung kakayanin ko lang ngayong panahon. Aminin na ganito. So, anyway, for the victims, they're perfect victims. Kaya, the more you drive the point that...
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Last part. Do you think it's...
Sorry, yung last na.
Yeah, please.
If you tell them yung othering, if you tell
Yes,
them,
please. The humanization. The humanization, yeah.
Sabi mo lang na, kasi adi kami, kasi ano kami, we don't deserve to live. Na-invite them. So now, thankfully, we've had a few victims na emboldened, na politicized. Mature enough to understand that it's not about their cases alone, but also
Right.
others. So, merong nag-come forward. Ang problema naman, ang harapin mo, bullying.
Yeah.
So,
Tanim biktima. That's the crazy.
EJK.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That's the worst that sabi ko na, okay, sige, you're contesting the numbers. Because that's all you can contest. Hindi totoo yan.
Yeah.
Hindi ganito namatay yan. Because you cannot contest or you cannot kumbaga deny that Duterte ordered the killings. I dare them to deny that. Wala nag-ano. He's innocent. Walang gano'n.
Yeah.
Lahat sila, pero hindi naman biktima yan.
Yeah.
You are diffusing the argument and trying to find something na where you think you have the high hand, pero sa totoo, 30,000, o sige, bawasan natin ng 1,000. You have 29,000.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Like,
Still the same.
it's crazy.
Still charges of crime.
yung mga slicing it, like, no matter how much you slice it, libo-libo pa rin namatay. At nakita ng tao yung nangyari kay Kian de los Santos. Kinota lang talaga. Kinota-kota system. Kailangan ba ng isang truth commission, justice commission, whatever you want to call it? And is that act of legislation dapat based on the Supreme Court ruling that we had earlier? Yeah.
It could be. So a truth commission will kind of set up mechanisms how the victims can come forward and even the perpetrators can come forward. Because for us, important yun din. And also, depende yan kung merong repercussions at the end.
Yeah.
Yung iba kasi truth commission, you just come forward and tell the truth. Okay, honestly, I don't know if the victims will want that.
Right.
Considering the context. But even if the most responsible are taken to trial, maybe baka pwede na nilang patawarin or let go yung parang on the run killers on the run. I've also seen how the killers, malabot na Pilipino, come from the parang middle class, lower middle class. So police to, patrolman, PO1, PO2 dati, di ba? Patrolman ngayon, police colonel.
Inutusan lang or
Kasi ito yung sitwasyon ngayon, so sumunod lang. So, iba sa kanila siyempre kayo, nagdududa na. Mali yata yung ginawa ko.
So you need security sector reform for that.
Yes,
Reintegration.
and also, sabi nga namin, i-approve mo yung problem. Kasi it's been always like that.
Yung culture of impunity.
Used to perpetrate whatever kind of policy that you have. Dati, against activists until now, no? Against
Yeah.
activists. Later on, against later on, we don't know what's next. Sabi nga namin, naku, paano pag nag-utos ang kung sino mang presidente na go after yung mga tahan? Na parang maraming matamaang mga trolls dyan.
Yeah.
Kumbaga, ngayon, siguro hindi kayo tatamaan. In the future, paano na. So, we, I think, need to look out for each other. And truth commission is one thing. To, kumbaga, go to the root.
Yeah.
Nag-away. Ano nangyari? And
You gave an advice, sabi mo, wag awayin na lang. I mean, let's not play into this mini civil war. You know, like, bobo kayo, mali yung grammar niyo. Like, I always say, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Kasi I literally group hagged some of yung mga supporters ni Digong sa detention center. Kahit tinatonta ko, okay lang, group hate tayo, sabi ko.
I have selfies with them, and when I go to the I go to the offices of the ICC and
Yeah.
one time lumabas ako.
Andun sila sa labas, yeah.
Nandiyan ba si tatay?
Yeah.
Wala. It's just a factual question. Mabait sila na, hi, kabayan.
Yeah, I mean, iba lang pananaw nila. They're not enemies, and we're not their enemies. I always say, hindi tayo magkalaban.
And the one thing that usually compare to soften the blow kapag enemy mo is to find something in common.
Yeah.
And maybe we just want something better for the Philippines. But kung doon tayo magkakaisa, then we move forward from that agreement.
And lastly, on the what to look forward to in the ICC case, so obviously there are arguments that you can raise a jurisdiction issue. The other one is to give him temporary liberty. What are the prospects going ahead? Again, this is very speculative, or at least prognostication. What is your legal prognostication, Attorney Conti?
As to yung parang defense motions for interim release or questions of jurisdiction, most likely will fit from me. And this is me speaking both as a lawyer for the victims and as a lawyer accredited with the court. And
Who understands the yeah.
Kasi I've looked at jurisprudence.
Yeah.
Very unlikely. So his best bet really is to engage with the court and present a credible, valid defense. But again, speaking as a lawyer for the victims, ewan ko kung paano niya mamamount yun.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we're talking about what the defense should do or what.
Yeah, and could it be like bakit September? Bakit ang tagal? Usually 4 to 8 weeks, 'di ba? Yung ganun.
Part of the victims.
Yeah.
Our main task is to make the victims understand that there are specific parameters to participation.
Yeah.
And so there's a participation process. Kung sino po yung mga biktima na papatak doon sa scope ng ICC charges mismo, pwedeng mag-apply as participating victims. Hindi ito witnesses.
Yeah.
Baka akala nyo, may wala akong masasabi.
Yeah.
Participating witnesses.
Victims, yeah.
Wala silang say sa prosecution. Hindi nila kailangan patunayan. Ang kailangan sa kanila ay pananaw at feelings. Sabi nga, wow, bait naman ang court, pati feelings. Kasi kunyari, what do you feel about Duterte's interviews? So it's a consultation process
Right.
where the court.
But is it feeling of safety? Like if bumalik siya, baka yayarin kami. Yeah. I think it's not just feelings, right? It's safety.
So
Yeah.
it's both parang political
Yeah.
and legal arguments that you can raise with the court. And it's a peculiar character of these kinds of international courts. Kasi na-realize nila, nga naman, ano yung role ng victims dito? They're not just like witnesses, but
Yeah.
if you, in other jurisdictions, there's the victim impact statement. So,
Yeah.
sa aking victims, ito yung feelings namin, ito yung nangyari sa buhay ko after. And cathartic ito para sa kanila.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see both yung submissions, kasi that's what the lawyers will work on, submissions to the court in sa mga development, but also an opportunity for victims to be heard during the trial. If not, their statements to be taken as evidence, minimum, as parang yung tawag na tinatawag ng victim impact statement, addressed to the accused. What I feel, and then that's cathartic for some. Parang yun yung paraan nila para makamove.
And on a personal level, how are you feeling?
Well, good.
Euphoric?
Tired na, not really kasi I know it's a start of something
Yeah. Long process.
long and whining.
Yeah.
So we'll see how things develop, but we're just taking things one day at a time.
Thank you so much, Atty. Con. Sorry if I keep on coming closer to you kasi hindi kita nilagyan ng lapel and buti nga hindi ka conscious kasi yung ibang guests namin na conscious sila ng angle daw nila, ganyan. But this is serious time. No, you look fine, thank you so much, Atty. Conti, because ang daming mga questionableng legal expert biglang lumilitaw na saan galing tong mga to, biglang nasa Senate hearing. Ito bang tao na to, naintindihan ba nila yung jurisprudence? This is not your usual Anglo-American jurisprudence. This is a European system. They speak even French. So I think it's important to get legitimate sources, including ICC-accredited lawyers and experts. So salamat, attorney, for sharing your time and salamat for being very kind to me and accommodating me on this very short notice. Salamat. God bless po. Thank you very much. Ayan, legit.